Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Utopian Open Source Radio, brought to you live from, not the Utopian headquarters, but from my office. And the tune you can hear in the background playing is from Bucky Doodle, composed exactly for this very moment. And I'm sorry. I interrupted. But I can let it play longer as an outro later on. So, my name is Jedi Guys, Yeti Guys, whatever you want to call me. In the end, it's pronounced something like Jedi Guys, like, I don't know. It's the name for a goat in German. But yeah, well, maybe you don't want to know. Nevertheless. It's who I am, and in the end, I'm a mid-aged computer scientist trying to do some new stuff. This is why I joined Steemit in the first place in August 2017. And now I thought in December about bringing a show live talking about Utopian. Because it was still quite fresh in that moment in time. And right now, after, it's end of May actually, and the first post I made about in December somewhere, it's half a year later, and now this is the first show that is going to air for Utopian Open Source Radio, and if you're pursuing such a target for such a long time, you can be quite nervous, which is basically what I am right now. So please forgive me all shortcomings that this show might have. In the end, what are we going to do? We are going to talk about open source software, obviously, because this is what Utopian is promoting and supporting. We are going to have Ilya live in the show. Well, Ilya, he's called in Steam, but Diego is his real name. He would join us later on for an in-depth session about how he came to the idea of bringing Utopian online, how the thing it developed in the first place, what happened in the last weeks where it got really a bit rough and bumpy, and this is what Diego is going to talk about later on. Then we have Ilana, also known as TechSlut, on Steam, coming to us right now in 2 minutes actually, talking a bit about open source news, what is happening out there right now in the community. Then we will have a short segment talking about Utopian content, things that we are actually right now supporting. There are some cool developments taking place right now as we speak, that we are supporting with Utopian. That is some kind of success story for us. Then maybe we can listen to Bucky's tune a bit more in depth, because this is really an back to the basics 90s tune, a bit techy. Then Ilya will come up. We will have some community guests. Tenza is going to talk about his projects that he's doing with Utopian. And that's basically going to be it. So I'm happy now to start the thing off. Please forgive us all our shortcomings that might happen during the show. This is live radio. And we are not professional live radio moderators. Well, at least I'm not. I don't know about the others. They are much cooler than I am. But please forgive us. We will learn, or we will get this while we are going. And then we think it's going to be a cool show. Ilana, are you ready for talking about news in the open source scene?
Oh, I was born ready, absolutely. First of all, you are the coolest one here. I checked.
I'm
You are
not.
indeed the coolest one. Yes, you are the coolest one. And yes, this is the first show, which means that everyone attending gets to see and hear us screw up because it's our first time. There's going to be a lot of little mistakes that you can laugh at. So in terms of news, I collected five little headlines, which I'm also gonna share with you in the chat room, which I found interesting. 3 days ago, someone pledged $1 million to the Gnome Foundation completely anonymously, and they're going to give it out over, I think, over the next 2 years. And it's pretty cool that it's just anonymous. Somebody said, "Okay, I want this project to do better, and I don't care about the fame or anything." So there it is. Have $1 million because I like the Gnome Foundation. So, Jedi, you have anything to say about that?
Actually, not really, because you missed me. You got me on the wrong foot here. Because
If you had $1 million, what open source initiative would you give it to?
if I would have this is more than just a good
That's a
question.
simple question.
No, it's not
It's a
actually, because I would like to give it to quite a few things. But
So you think about it while I go over some of the other news. So that's a good question. Give you something to think about.
yeah. Thanks a lot.
So there's an open source wallet DApp being developed for the Tron TRX blockchain, and it's being developed by someone named Marius Gill. He sounds very respectable and mature, but he's actually a 19-year-old kid in Germany who is in charge of creating the app wallet for that blockchain, and that's pretty good. He's been programming since he was 13, and that's also pretty cool in my opinion. I wish I kept programming. I started programming when I was 13, but I kind of quit, so I did not
Why
build.
did you quit? Because starting is the hardest part, actually. No.
Mostly math. Mostly because math. I went to computer sciences and there was so much math, I got scared and I quit. And then at some point, I took a fork in my career and chose marketing over R&D. And here I am. So
Really,
this,
marketing? Okay.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
It needs to have professional marketeers as well. I totally agree.
I'm working on a blog post series about open source marketing and why it is so very important for open source projects to invest even more in marketing than proprietary projects. But that's a whole different segment for the show. Um, my next news item for you is a free introduction open source networking technologies course by the Linux Foundation. So if you happen to, if you have some free time and you want to learn stuff about open data planes, open switches, the open network Linux operating system, all those things that have to do with massive network management. So you can go and do that for free by the Linux Foundation. And it's really inspiring to see all the many uses for different open source applications, as well as seeing very, very major brands. And this is something that's been going on for quite a while now. It's just picking up. Seeing major brands turn more and more toward open source. So first of all, I came across a news item from today about the Ontario Institute for Cancer Research using open source clouds to help with cancer research, which is really awesome because you know everybody wants to find a cure for cancer, and using open source for that seems just totally inspiring to me. And the last one is about it's a bit weird, but Frings and China Telecom are collaborating in creating an open source based network control system. I don't know, but I always get suspicious when China Telecom is involved, but it's still very interesting. If it's open source and at the same time Chinese, I find that interesting. So those are the news items I kind of hunted down. Marketing is not a dark art at all. It's an art with nothing dark about it.
I just wanted to mention what Normok has been saying, and if you want to reply or not, but obviously you already have seen it.
Marketing is not part of the dark arts at all. Marketing is the art of making sales unnecessary. Marketing is making people want your product so much they come and they ask you for it without you having to go and look for people to sell a product to. That's what basically marketing is in 2 words.
Yeah, well, I would definitely agree that it's super important having a good marketing department. On the other hand side, we all know that it can be part of the dark art as well. It depends on how you're filling the role, actually.
It's kind of like hacking. There's white hat and there's black hat hacking. Same with marketing. There's white hat marketing and black hat marketing.
Yeah, exactly. So for sure, this is it always depends on how you're approaching it. Basically, I thought about your question.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well, obviously you got me a thinking item, and I do like to complete those items, because else I don't know what happens. I'm a bit in fear, you know.
So $1 million that you have, what open source initiative will you
$1 million
anonymously donate $1 million to an open source initiative? Which one would it be?
Well, that's really a bit complicated, because you brought me to the right. Well, I think you brought me to the right idea, because I have been involved in a software or in a blockchain technology called Gridcoin. No advertising on this plane meant, but this is supporting actually scientific calculation of data, like say for cancer research, like say for whatever Ebola research, and this is quite a cool task. I really like that. So instead of mining and burning electricity and using that environmental, or making our environment look worse because of mining things in this blockchain technology, we could really use that computational power to something good. And yeah, it's Gridcoin. McFaul had got it totally right. And we could really use that to something good, so that in the end we are going to get somewhere into the area of being one big computer on the world, which, by the way, Douglas Adams has written down already. Yeah, that would be quite cool if I could invest into this direction, so that we are doing something cool with our vast amounts of computational power that we are throwing at those blockchains. This would be quite cool. But I don't know exactly.
Going to go with progressing. You're going to go with progressing toward finding cures for diseases and like scientific computational.
Yeah, actually, I think that's quite cool. I supported once a project with Gridcoin that was researching water plants or water wells in Africa, how they are done best, so that they are in the end the most bringing the most water to the people. And this is, I think, something where you can directly relate to. This is really...
That is very cool. I did not know about that. Thank you for telling me. I'm gonna... They apparently have a Steam account too. I'm gonna follow them. That's really cool.
Yeah, sure. They do. It's got a bit quiet about Gridcoin in the later stages, but Lemouth, for instance, or this Hadron Collider project that we are going to talk about later on. This is Clinton Foundation. I don't know the Clinton Foundation. Sorry, Grim. You just got me on the wrong foot there. But yeah, there is, you can do something cool with all this electricity and all these cool graphic cards that are lying around somewhere, or you can just, do something with it, which also brings money maybe in the end. But if money isn't the way to go, because I have $1 million to invest, obviously I'm not short on money, then I would go in this direction, I think.
That's a cool answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you for collecting all those educational and news items. I'm reacting now to Flugschwein, which is obviously a German name. By the way, if you can't understand me, because I'm sounding somehow like the Terminator, then this may be because I am living or coming out of an area of this world where the Terminator is at least close to. So think about that the Terminator in the end was a cool guy and he never killed anyone, and basically he was protecting everything, and and if you then still cannot understand me, then there's something wrong. Maybe with me.
At the end of the show, I'd just like to make a request. At the end of the show, I think your last line should be "Get to the chopper," and that's it. Just last line.
Oh yeah, I could do that. So I'm reacting to Flugschwein now. I am actually. Are you actually mining? If this is the right word? No, it's not the right word actually. Sorry, Ron. I'm just laughing about your thing, but I wanted to answer to Flugschwein. No, it's not mining. It's really computing. You're computing data packets. In the end, you're not. I wouldn't call it mining. Technically, it may be something like going into this direction, but it's not, because Gridcoin is a proof of stake blockchain, and it's not a proof of work blockchain. So it's not really mining. Nevertheless, I am doing it. Yeah, I've got some computers behind me that are actually calculating stuff. I think right now I'm calculating for the Large Hadron Collider, but I'm not sure. Yeah, running for governor. Well, if Ani could do it, maybe I could do it as well. But don't know, Ron, if they are going to do this once more. I really don't know. Okay, let's just before we are losing us all in my political career, that maybe or maybe not is going to come or not. Like I said, I'm mid-aged, so most likely I'm not changing careers, because I'm quite happy with what I'm doing currently. Let's go one step further to down the road to the utopian content, and we have just been talking about maybe if anyone could be so nice to, well, I can do it myself. This is quite a cool article that Lemouth, I don't know if you know Lemouth, he's working in SteamStem, and he's a professor at university. I think it's for physics, and he has in former times, or I think it was in the starting of the year, invited the SteamStem members to go visit CERN in the Large Hadron Collider actually. Sadly, I couldn't take part in it. It was the first meetup, the first physical meetup of SteamStem, and he wrote quite an interesting article about how utopian or how open source could come together helping particle physics, and how we could maybe improve the current analysis and the current calculation that of these data packages have to be done. And this is, he says in this post that it's the step 1A, and it's quite an interesting roadmap that he's following up on this. But this is really, really, if we are going there as a community, not just as utopian or as, I don't know, Jedi guys, but if we are going there as a community building something cool and something that has never been done before, then I think we are really about to bring us all a step forward, and not just make, I don't know, 10 Steam more in my wallet, or have 5 SPD coming my way. So I can only apply to or appeal to you all. Give it a go, even if you may be not the super physics guy. If you can develop cool stuff, Lemouth has really something cool going on, and this is really state-of-the-art physics and state-of-the-art science. It's not something, I don't know, basic science that you're going to do in school or even in university. This is state-of-the-art, and that's you do not get to do that often, to have such a chance to really be close to such cool things. At least I I'm working in a bank. I'm not doing anything cool, basically. Well, apart from hosting this show and being with Utopian and all the other guys, and yeah. So I think this is one cool Utopian content that we are having, that we are supporting actively. So I will for sure see if I can somehow help with this development, and I think that we will support this further on down the road. On the other hand side, we have a lot of cool things that we are currently supporting, like a lot of video documentation about the Dart Flutter framework that Tensor has done, which is going to be later on the show. And we are, I don't know how many thousands of bugs we already found, or the community found, and we supported by voting for it. So we are trying really to make a difference here. Yeah, we are publishing. I think, Ilana, how are we publishing this? We are publishing Utopian Top of the Pops weekly.
Yes, we are. Top of Utopian is published weekly.
Can you come back to your microphone? You just moved away a bit. May this be?
Yes, I did. Sorry.
Yes, don't worry.
Weekly. Yes, we do publish it weekly. This is the second one we've published so far, and we make sure to collect all the staff picks, the best of the best posts on Utopian over the week. And we also include some statistics in terms of how many posts were reviewed, how much rewards we're giving out overall, what were the best posts that got most engagement, the highest payout, and so on and so forth.
Oh, cool. So it's also top contributors are in and things like that?
Yes, each category has the top contributors that have accumulated the most contributions that week. Yes.
Oh, very cool. And do you know out of your mind, or thanks a lot, Diego, for posting it. So you can all see what we're talking about. This is the weekly Top of the Pops in Utopian. Oh no, it's not Top of the Pops. Sorry, it's Top of Utopian.
It's okay. It's okay. That's the name. That's where I got the name. It was initially Best of Utopian or something like that, and I was like, nah. It's either I make the top in the word Utopian caps, but then it's just like Top of Utopian, like Top of the Pops. That's
cool. Perfect. I just will stick with Top of the Pops somehow with Utopian, and then it's everything cool.
That's on purpose.
So obviously, when I see that development bug hunting and graphics is still something that is going really smooth, and video tutorials, and all the other categories are somehow, well, we could do more there. You all, it's not us, it's you all. But it's an amazing. This is 1 week that we are seeing here.
Yeah, just 7 days. You can look at the one from the week before.
Wow.
It also had similar numbers. We're gonna start also, I hope, as of next week, showing some comparison toward like with previous weeks to see which categories did better.
Yeah, wow, very cool. So this is quite a lot of engagement that we are having here, and I think we are really happy. If you hear me flying around paper, then this is because I'm flying around paper. Well, I'm letting it fly around because I wrote down so many things I wanted to talk to you. So don't let yourself get, distracted. Yeah, but in the end, this is really what we're talking about. We are supporting, or Utopian is supporting, so many developments, ideas, bug hunts. I don't know, so many tutorials even. This is what we are trying to do, and this is what we are getting forward. This is what Utopian is about. So please give it a go if you want. If you always wanted to contribute, give it a go, and we are happy for every contribution that we got. And now my mouse has turned off suddenly. If this is the only thing that's happening, it's cool, Now it's back on.
It's our first show. It's
yeah,
our first
no.
show. It's called the Murphy Show. The first one is always Murphy Show because everything will go wrong. The recording's not going to work. The theme is going to play twice while you're talking, and somebody's hardware is going to just like die.
This is really a story I could tell, because Bucky made this extremely cool theme, this very technical 90s thing that we heard in the beginning. And the question was, how am I supposed to get this into my mixer and into the sound? And I tried, I don't know how many ways. In the end, I hooked up my old CD player, which I had to dust off badly because it was, I don't know, badly dusted. And now it's playing in a endless loop in my CD player until I fire it up again on the mixer. So Bucky, obviously my laser is burning into your extreme cool sound.
Open source made cool sound.
Yeah, exactly. So for sure, CD player. You know, I had to really, it was not dusted even. It was somehow grown into the wall, you know, because I didn't move it for such a long time. The wall has grown around it. Yeah, I don't have any cassette player anymore. Sadly.
I actually do.
Oh, really?
I actually do. Yes, it's at my mom's house, and it still exists. It's a radio, cassette, and CD player. It is ancient.
You're quite impressive. Again.
No, you.
Yeah,
there were quite a few. There were quite a few interesting projects that were mentioned up in here that are supported by Utopian, among others. One of them is Steam Nova, which is a wonderful way to waste all of your time.
Oh yeah, it is true.
Don't go on it. Do not register on that stuff. I put myself in vacation mode. Roughly when I started working with Utopian a lot, and I haven't touched it since, and I'm very proud of myself. It's a really cool project. It will eat up all your time. Don't touch it. And then there's Steamia, and then there's another front end which is pretty new, with frame something. The one with the frames. So there are so many. I'm barely keeping up. There's a ton of them.
Yeah, it's developing quite fast actually, and Diego is completely right. We should for sure mention fast reply, because
Rivals is mentioning it in caps. Yeah, here we go. Talk about it. You have to talk about it.
Because yesterday I've talked with Roxanne about it, and maybe if she's able to make it to the show or not, but obviously she couldn't. I'm trying to get her for one other week. For sure she will make it some way. But this project is about, you all know that we like, or people like to comment a lot on your posts, and you're not able to answer to all of them because certain rules apply when you're answering to a post. For instance, you can only answer once every 20 seconds. And this tool lists all of your comments on the left side, all the comments that have been made to you, and lets you reply to them easily without any fussy, I don't know, screen or any fussy things. It just lets you reply. And the best thing is, it lets you reply very much faster than once per 20 seconds, because it's simply storing the things you're replying and then sending it once at a time, one at every 20 seconds. So you can just leave it open. It will just push out every vote and every comment or every reply that you made on comments, and you're done with it. So you can do it in your own time. You can simply be much faster about it, and it's an impressive tool. Roxanne said to me it's still in beta mode, but then I said to her, well, whole Steam it is actually, and it's working. I checked it yesterday and it's working like a charm. I quit writing replies to all of the things quite a long time ago, because it's simply, you can get really lost in it. It's really a hell of a work if you want to do it in a good way and not just write, oh yeah, thanks a lot for your super comment, I like you, upvote. So if you want to do something cool and something really that is worth the time you're writing it, you should really have an interface that is helping you doing so, and fast reply is exactly that interface. So I was flashed and thrilled about it, and I still am, because it's really working like a charm. So yeah, for all of you that don't know it, give it a go. It's using Steam Connect. Yeah, I knew that this question is going to come. So it's using Steam Connect version 2 exactly. And yeah, that's basically it. So give it a try. If you want to reply fast and easy and in time, then this may be really a tool for you. And as I heard, I didn't know, but I have prior to the show, I've talked to Ilana about it, and she said that, well, Roxanne tried to learn the ropes. This is what you said to me, at least, how a project is organized and how someone can collaborate with Utopian, and then she started on that project. And yeah,
with her boyfriend. Yeah, he's the developer, and they did it together. Yeah.
Yeah, what better way of starting a project? Well, of learning how to deal with Utopian, how to help and how to support is there out there than this? So that's impressive.
My first experience was, and actually the only contribution I ever made, was a translation of Busy to Hebrew, because I just really wanted to figure out what Utopian was about, because the idea seemed so brilliant to me. I just wanted to see what it looks like from the contributor side. And
you did what? You did what? You did it to Hebrew?
Yeah.
Oh, impressive.
I'm in Israel right now.
I know. But I somehow must have missed that. I don't know.
So yes, there's a translation of Busy to Hebrew for the Israelis.
Very cool. Didn't know that. Now, before we're moving on to Diego, who can now start to prepare in the left corner with, I don't know, a weight of, 50 kilos or so, we can talk about one project more, actually. And the question is, which of the projects that you already have... sorry, I missed the comment from Louis88. Is that output also possible on the 500 SP? What do you want to tell me by that? Well, Louis, you can rephrase your question maybe so that I can understand it. Or it was just, when comment on fast reply, is the upvote also possible on that? Ah, you mean the slider or what? Well, in fast reply there's a slider, like the normal slider for controlling your upvote strength. Yeah, exactly. Well, Louis, how should I find out? I don't know. It was working for me, but I'm obviously above 500 SP. So, oh yeah, thanks Obvious. Captain Obvious is here as well. Perfect. Okay, so let's just quit talking about Utopian success stories, even if we could do so for quite a long time. Oh yeah. Oh, Diego. Yeah. That's really one of the most interesting things. And since you are now on the show, you can, if you want to, lose 1 or 2 words about it. Please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome Ilya or Diego, the founder and acting CEO of Utopian. And as now you are entering I'm losing frames, but don't let yourself be distracted by that fact.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much for inviting me here. So I just want to say that I'm really happy for this show. It's been something we have been working on for months now. And I really like the idea to have a place where we can discuss about the open source ecosystem in general, and more specifically about the open source ecosystem on the Steam blockchain, that it's very, very important. So what I want to make clear here is that this show is not about Utopian. It's about the contributors of Utopian. It's about what Utopian is supporting, and also beyond that. So this is very important to understand. We really want to give to the people listening to the show the tools and the news and all the interesting things that are happening on the Steam blockchain and beyond, generally on the open source ecosystem. So I'm really happy for this. This is something I'm planning to share also outside the Steam community. I'm planning to bring contributors from GitHub and let them join this radio show, probably starting from the next week, since probably will be ready for that. So finally, comments. It's a really cool tool that I've been looking at recently. So if you have some experience with WordPress or other similar publishing platforms, most of them, they use Disqus. Disqus is this JavaScript based comment system that you can just embed into your website. It's very easy. It's just about copying a JavaScript snippet, and you have a full functional comment system on your website in a few seconds. What Finally Comments is trying to do is the very same thing. So they are trying to build a Disqus-like system on the Steam blockchain. So on top of having the benefit to just copy and paste a snippet and have an entire comment system on your website right away, you also have the possibility to join the reward capabilities of the Steam blockchain. So this is super cool. I shared this article in the Steam Slack, and Ned was so excited about this that he immediately invited the developer to join the Steam Slack to talk more about this project. So I really think it has the potential to grow really large. So I advise anyone to go there and check.
Yeah, very cool. This is really a cool project that is going on, and it could help really a lot, making things much easier. But coming back to you, Diego, because obviously you are the guy that started it all. Without you, we wouldn't be here talking about Utopian, because it simply wouldn't exist. So what can you tell us about yourself? Who is Diego? What are you doing? What have you done? Don't worry. I don't want any bad secrets. It's still early here in Germany, so maybe we're not allowed to talk about bad things.
Yeah. I'm an Italian guy. I live in a very small town near Rome, between the mountains. It's very cool. So I started as an actor. So when I was really young, I was studying acting, and I've been doing that for almost 10 years. Then somehow I realized that acting wasn't really the thing that I wanted to do, because it's really hard, especially in Italy. Unfortunately, you have to know the right people to do something. I did something, but that wasn't really satisfying for me. So when I was 18 years old, I joined Dolphin. That it is this Australian-based social network publishing tool that is open source. I really wanted to do a database for actors, because there was nothing like that. But I didn't have the money to pay developers. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try this myself. And I tried to play with the code, starting with just HTML and CSS and trying to mess it up a little bit. Then I moved into the PHP code, and that was very hard for me because I'm not a very good reader. So I was just trying to play with the code without actually understanding what it was supposed to do. But eventually, after a few months of playing with the code 18 hours a day, I was able to do some PHP code myself. I started having the first clients working for this open source project, and I decided that development was the thing that I wanted to do. So I opened my very first company when I was 19 years old. I had a few companies in my career. Utopian is the fourth one right now. And I've always been interested in the open source ecosystem. Unfortunately, I never had the time to actually contribute a lot into open source projects. That's why after a few years, I came with the idea that incentivizing open source development was necessary, especially for all those people that are working full-time, maybe for other companies, and they would like to dedicate more time to open source development, but they can't because they don't earn money for that. So they have to work full-time for something else, and they don't have the time to actually focus on open source development. So the idea of Utopian started a few years ago. I was actually brainstorming around ways to incentivize open source development, but all the ways that I could think about that required either a huge budget or a huge community that I didn't have. And so suddenly the idea of Utopian stopped for a few years. And then I find out about the Steam blockchain through a Jerry Banfield video tutorial that it was supposed to do about blockchain in general, but it was actually very focused on the Steam blockchain. And at the very beginning, I wasn't completely taken by the concept. I tried to make my first post. The second one was about how to do networking on LinkedIn, and I got, I think, 0 SBD or something like that. And so I thought, okay, this is not really working. So, but then I found busy.org, and I said, wow, this platform really looks cool. It's even cooler than Steam. It's very well done. Let me have a look to the code. It was open source. I had a look to the code, and I said, at the very moment, I realized, wait a second, maybe I can use this thing for Utopian. Maybe this is something I can use to make that dream a reality. And so what I did was to just fork busy.org, do some minor changes. And after 3 days, I proposed the idea of Utopian to the community. And it didn't go very well because no one noticed. And at the time, there were no super powerful voting bots that I could use to promote myself. And what I did was just to spam people on Steam chat, the whales, going there and say, hey, I did this. No one is noticing. Can you give me just a little help, please? No one replied except for Xeldal, that is this whale on the Steam blockchain. And he or she, I don't know, delegated 20K Steam power to Utopian. And then I was really excited. And everything started from there.
Yeah, well, that's impressive story, actually. But let me go back to the beginning, because at least Ilana and myself, we are thrilled to hear that you have been a child actor.
I am on Google. I have Google, and I have pictures, you guys. Not many, but I have Google. Did you know that Diego has an IMDb page?
No.
No, please don't share it.
I'm not gonna.
This is great. What's happening here, guys? Did you plan this?
I'm not gonna do that to Diego.
But you said that he's got an IMDb page.
The other day.
How complicated can it be?
I said the other day on the company Slack that one should always have embarrassing photos of their boss, and I just opened like a Pandora's box. A child actor. This is spectacular. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back to Google.
This is indeed spectacular. But okay, let's go back to professional life. I don't know if I'm able to, but let's try. Child actor, really? It's impressive. I'm impressed with you.
No,
seriously.
Not really. not really impressive, trust me.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter.
I'm beyond impressed. I am beyond impressed. I would never have guessed. I would have never,
No,
ever,
me
ever
neither.
guessed.
This is.
I imagined you growing up in front of a computer, not like on TV with like fans and stuff.
Yeah.
No, the computer eventually came when I was 18. I wasn't really a nerd by nature, so I became a nerd. I don't know how.
I'm so surprised.
Me too. This is.
You totally passed as nerd. You
Yeah.
completely passed as nerd.
Yeah, and
You've done a good job.
you're totally screwing my complete script for the show because I don't know what to say now. But it doesn't matter. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't drop bombs like that.
Did you ever build that actors database for that you wanted to do? Did you ever build that database that you wanted, Diego?
No, I didn't because at the end I started having some customers and they were paying quite well, and I needed the money so much that I didn't have the time to do that DB any longer. And eventually another project did that few months later. It didn't go very well, and so I thought, okay, maybe that wasn't really a cool idea. So.
Okay, guys, I would really love
But it's
to.
cool where you ended up. It's really cool where you ended up. It's an interesting path.
Sure. I really would like to follow this up. Maybe we are dedicating the whole next show to Diego's child actor career. But
No.
maybe not. But on the other hand side, there are some topics I wanted to talk about. So you already laid out more or less the road to Utopian that you have followed. And it's quite impressive what steps you took, actually. But in the latest, well, let's say in the last month, Utopian has not only been in the Steam press or in the Steam headlines being a good thing, at least there was some bad things happening. And now, what can you tell us about that? How are we doing? How are we coping? And how's the future going to be looking like?
Yeah, so unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, Utopian was hacked. Our main production server was completely destroyed, and so was the CDN where we hosted the backups of the last month. So the reason why Utopian, and to make it even worse, the day after, the refresh tokens were leaked from the database and used to bulk downvote and upvote some random posts. So that was really a shame. So the way how it happened, it's we suspected it was an internal attack. We still don't have the final answer to that. But practically, we were using some unique features. Practically, when you log in Steam Connect, the application gets a token. So the end application never sees the password of the user. When you get the token, you can use the token on the client side. So you can just do operations from the browser, or you can request an offline token to do server-side operations. For server-side operations, I mean, for example, automating posting and voting. We were using these refresh tokens to, first of all, to store moderation data into the blockchain, because we really wanted to be transparent and we wanted to have all our data stored in the blockchain, also for future reference. And the way the easiest way to do that was to store the refresh token and to send this data into the post object on behalf of the user. The other reason why we had these refresh tokens was to generate the rewards for our moderators and community managers. The way it works, every week there is a new post being created automatically. Each and every community manager and moderator gets an automated comment, and a vote will be given by the main utopian-io account. So these are the reasons why we store these refresh tokens. Every application can revoke these refresh tokens. The problem is, even though if you change the secret password that you need in order to make these refresh tokens functional, if the hacker can access the new secret key, he will be still able to use those refresh tokens anyways. So this was a mixed problem between the way we use those tokens and the way the tokens actually work. So we have been working with Steam Connect to understand how to improve this process, and they are working on that as well. Steam Connect is probably the most secure way right now to log in Steam-based application. So there is really nothing wrong about Steam Connect itself.
Yeah. Exactly. So this is sorry for interrupting, but this is one of the important things that we should mention. Steam Connect is really extremely safe and sound to use. So there was nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there is absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, we know many trustworthy applications where we could also use our own keys without having to go through Steam Connect. But the problem is you can't really trust every new platform out there. So when you see a new platform, they're requesting for a password, and you don't know what's behind the project, I would be a little bit worried about doing that. With Steam Connect, I'm not worried about doing that simply because I know the application will never and ever get access to the password. The only thing that the application can get is either a client token or a server or a server-side token and a flying token. Yeah. Those tokens can be revoked, and in the worst case, they can be completely deleted, as it happened after the utopian hack. So we need a way to we need a trustworthy way to log in web applications on the Steam blockchain. Steam Connect is being developed by Visitor. It supports a trustworthy way to log in web-based applications on the Steam blockchain.
Perfect, Diego. We're running out of time actually, because it's 8 minutes left and we got Tenza still waiting on his call. Oh no, I'm always losing Diego when I'm trying. Well, what I wanted to say is we are very short of time, and what I would want to do, Diego, is following up on you. If you got time for coming live, I don't know, next week, the week after, because we're not halfway through the questions, but we are more or less through with the time. So I would really like to, and I think the audience as well, like to follow up on this. So just one quick word. How's the future of Utopian? When are we going to see a new front end, or are we going to see one?
Yeah, absolutely. So the good thing, the good effect of the attack was that all the Utopian supporters came together to help us. So we really had a lot of support, and you can see that because we are pushing so many new things, and that's thanks to all the people that are working closely with us. So I'm really happy for that, especially Hernandez, this amazing developer that we met in the Discord Utopian community. And after the attack, he immediately started to work on a new front end that is not using the refresh tokens at all, It's still using Steam Connect, but only on the client side. It did a lot of progress. We decided to get this front end and make it the official Utopian one. So we are also supporting now the development of this new front end that it's made with Vue.js and the Quasar framework. So it's really far from the original busy.org fork. And we aim to release the new front end as soon as possible. The good thing is that we had a very strong curation framework in place. So everyone can still contribute. I want to make it very clear. They can use any front end out there as long as they use the right tags. Our moderators will find and reward the contributions if they deserve it. We have everything on our website to understand how to make it possible, but we never stopped rewarding source contributions.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for having this in-depth analysis of the situation and look out into the future. Tenza, now it's your turn. I'm sorry that you had to wait until the last bit. And Diego, you can for sure stay in the line because you know Tenza quite a lot and he's doing great contributions for Utopian lately. So, Tenza, you are there? This is live radio calling to Tenza.
Yeah, I'm right here. Sorry about
well,
that.
perfect. There you are. I thought you slept in or something like that, you know?
No, I just happened to be tabbed out of Discord.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Perfect. So, tell us a bit, what are you doing for Utopian, or what are you doing for the community that Utopian is supporting?
All right, so I've been doing educational video tutorials. I started doing them about 2 years ago on YouTube, and I just kind of came across Steam about a year ago. And it's kind of ironic because I remember thinking that Steam was just another social media platform that I could use to advertise my YouTube channel. Whereas like right now I use my YouTube channel to post my Utopian contributions. So recently I've been doing a lot of focusing on Flutter, which is a mobile solution that was built by Google. And the idea behind it is to build a single code base for all the platforms, iOS and Android specifically. And then eventually they'll add support for the web and for desktop as well as Fuchsia OS. And the idea is that it uses a lot of the concepts of from the framework of React, but it uses the Dart programming language, which is sort of important because this allows for things like hot reloading and hot restarting, which makes for a very smooth development pipeline. So if you're editing your code, you can just kind of see the changes as you're going, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. This is Dart has been said to be the better JavaScript, or did I read something wrong there?
So a lot of people make comparisons with Dart and JavaScript, and yeah, there was originally a plan for Google to sort of embed it in their browser, but they kind of abandoned that. Dart is more of like a general purpose language, and yeah, you can compile it to JavaScript. So yeah, it's not really the same.
Okay. So will we see more of Dart, or do you plan on bringing other video tutorials up as well about different stuff?
Well, I plan to continue doing Flutter for a little while, and then I'm going to move into the next technology. I haven't decided what yet.
Okay, cool. So Tenza, if you want to, and you got time next week on Wednesday, I wanted to, because Diego has taken up quite a long time, which made sense. So this is no attack on you, Diego. You may join us again next week, Tenza, or the week after, just like you want, because actually this is top-notch development or top-notch tutorials that we're talking about here. This is not just like me recording something with, I don't know, my webcam. And I already received the 2 minutes warning from Ron. Thanks a lot for that. And thanks a lot, Tenza, for being on the show. Thanks a lot, Diego and Ilana and Bucky, who has been there quite a lot of time and has pulled strings in the background. You didn't see it, but he did. And one thing is, next week on Wednesday, this is going to happen again, 19 o'clock or 7 o'clock UTC. And next week as well, we are starting the Raspberry Pi giveaway thing that we are doing in the show. So we have a bot created for us, and that is going to give away a new Raspberry Pi 3 Plus to the audience members. And yeah, I'd like to thank all of you, the attendants to this, and the audience, and yeah, everyone that has helped me doing this show.